Welcome to Piano Inspires podcast, celebrating pianists, teachers, and innovators as they share their inspiring stories about the transformative power of music.
Looking for new repertoire but unsure where to start? Check out Piano Literature for Teaching and Performance by Jane McGraw, a studio essential for all pianists and piano teachers, now available as a searchable ebook. It's a beautifully curated guide to piano music from the Baroque through the contemporary eras, featuring not only beloved classics, but also works by underrepresented and women composers, plus inspiring pieces by today's living artists. Each selection includes composer biographies, musical characteristics, and teaching insights that make lesson planning easier and more meaningful. With graded levels from 1 through 10, there's something here for every student. Visit pianoinspires.com/publications to learn more. Bring new energy, diversity, and inspiration to your studio with piano literature for teaching and performance. Thanks for listening to the Piano Inspires podcast and enjoy the episode.
Hello, everyone. My name is Artina McCain, and I am an advisor for the Francis Clark Center. I have the great pleasure today to interview one of my faves, my first undergrad teacher, actually, Dr. Carol Leone from Southern Methodist University. If you don't know her, I'll read a little bit about her for you. She is an SMU Meadows music faculty since 1996. Nationally recognized as an artist teacher of piano, and she's taught throughout the United States, Europe, and Asia, and been a prize winner in piano competitions such as the National Beethoven Sonata Competition, the Missouri Southern International Piano Competition, and the International Masters Piano Competition. Her professional training included study at the Curtis Institute of Music in Philadelphia, where she received a certificate and was a student of the Polish pianist Mieczysław Horszowski. Leone holds the prestigious honors diploma from the Accademia Chigiana in Siena, Italy. She's recorded for MSR Classics, Gasparo Records, and Crystal Records, and her solo CD, Change of Keys, was awarded 2 silver medals in the 2016 Global Music Awards. Leone is active as a national and international teacher, lecturer, and adjudicator. She's been named the Texas Music Teachers Association's Collegiate Teacher of the Year, and her students have been top prize winners in many international competitions. She's presented at MTNA conferences, NCKP conference, European Piano Teachers conferences, and she's considered the world's leading artist teacher on ergonomic piano keyboards to promote pianist wellness. Welcome, Carol. We're glad to have you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
It's always good to be with you, Artina.
I know. This is fun. You're going to just peek in on a normal conversation with us today. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your early start with music. We always like to know how things began.
Well, I was fortunate to be born to a dad who was a musician, who his brothers were musicians, his father. It's just a whole family thing. Mm-hmm. So music was just part of everyday life in my family. And in fact, there was never a moment that I can remember the household didn't have someone either singing, tapping rhythms out, whistling, playing the piano, playing some instrument. It was just a house filled with music.
Oh, wow. Now, yeah. I heard that you were a jazz entertainer as a child. Is this true? We need the whole story. Okay. We have time.
Well, so my dad was a jazz pianist. Okay. He was also a piano technician.
Oh, okay.
But he decided that I should be an entertainer along with him. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was kind of fun because I got to spend a lot of time with my dad. And in fact, every night after dinner, my parents would just stack the dishes in the sink for now, and then it would be showtime.
How old were you?
3.
Oh, little child.
We started, yeah, maybe it started earlier than that. Mm-hmm. But I remember the showtime was in a house that was when I was 3.
Okay.
And yeah, Dad would go to the piano, da 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 dum da 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 da. I'd come in, and we'd start everything: the singing, the dancing, the playing the piano and the playing the drums. So my dad taught me to play the trap set drums at 3. And then we were an act together.
Oh, wow.
So from about age 3 to age 10, we did gigs. And, that could be something like a wedding or a nightclub.
Uh-huh.
Or even I played several times at this huge casino that seated 1,500 people. And very, very often also played at veterans hospitals and things like that.
Wow.
And so it was an act. I was known as the girl drummer. And
very strange at the time, I'm sure.
Yeah.
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 Especially your age.
So my dad was the one at the piano. And I would sing like standards, jazz standards. It must have been kind of silly just watching a 6-year-old sing torch songs.
Oh,
but,
I want you to give us a little tune, actually.
I can't sing anymore, unfortunately. And at the same time, they started me in formal piano lessons. When I was 3.5, I started, and I played in my first teacher's recital at 4.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I was 10, I was really getting frustrated. I wanted to advance further in piano, and so my parents went to the university, which was the local university was SUNY Fredonia in New York, and spoke with a college professor there. Would you be interested in teaching our daughter? And I auditioned for him, and he said yes. And he said, but you'll have to give up all of this other stuff you're doing.
Oh, you had to put the jazz away.
Yeah. So I was happy to do that. Actually, I was really, really interested in getting better at the piano. And at the same time, what I was doing with my dad, even though I loved entertaining with him, it was becoming uncool because the Beatles were popular.
Oh.
And, the Rolling Stones. I don't know. It just was suddenly I was playing jazz and my friends didn't think that was cool.
Oh,
so,
I see.
yeah. So instead, I really put my efforts into studying piano seriously.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. On the same topic, but a little bit different. So let's say there's some musicians watching and they're wondering what the dynamic of parent and child is to teaching. Like, what did you think of when your dad was teaching you versus when you went to the university professor? How did things change?
Yeah.
Okay.
Completely different. Well, first of all, my dad was not my piano teacher, although he did play, he did play the blues and everything with me and taught me those kinds of things, a little bit of improvisation. So I had a piano teacher that was separate. My dad made everything fun.
Mm-hmm.
He made everything fun, and he was encouraging. So it was never there was no criticism. He really wanted me to love music. So I was very fortunate. It wasn't a discipline. It was just let's go have fun and let's entertain. Let's have showtime.
Mm-hmm.
My professor that I had starting at age 10 was a completely different personality.
Oh.
My dad was, extremely extroverted and, typical verbose Italian man, and my professor was, very buttoned up. And, I knew that I had played very well if he went, oh,
I see.
Man of few words. Mm-hmm. He was wonderful. T. Richard Patterson at SUNY Fredonia. So, and that was those were two different lives for me.
Right.
My classical music life and my life as a entertainer.
Oh, right. As a drummer, as that. Wow. So then what made you think, okay, this is something I really wanted to do? Did you know at age 3 when you were playing with your dad, or was somewhere when you were in high school, you decided I really want to be a pianist?
Oh, I always thought I was going to be a musician. It never occurred to me to be anything else. Mm. I kind of really wanted to be Barbra Streisand more than anything for a long time. I did a lot of singing on stage, and I was, in the High School Musicals and all that. And I really loved singing more than anything. in terms of being on stage. But in terms of what I really wanted to practice, it was the piano. So when I had a model like this teacher that I had at SUNY Fredonia, I thought, I am going to be like him someday. So probably almost immediately after starting lessons with him, that was my goal, not to be a concert pianist, but to be a university professor like him.
Oh, so you knew like what age? Like 14 or 10, you said?
10.
Wow.
And actually teaching, I think I loved the idea of being a teacher just from the time I was in elementary school. I would sit there and think about, now, if I were teaching this concept, how would I was always just thinking sort of like, from the point of view of a teacher, how does one get this concept across, even from a little child? So I think that when I got such an extraordinary teacher at age 10, it just clicked.
Wow.
That's what good teaching is, and that's what I want to do.
Wow. Okay. So you knew very, very early. So did you have any challenges along the way as you decided to go to college, or maybe even as a teenager? Did you ever like change your mind or somebody discourage you?
Oh, I mean, there was always that little, when you're a teenager, there's a little rebellion, right? And since everyone from the time I was born thought I was going to be a musician, I thought I would just change it up a little bit and surprise people. And so in my junior year, I said, I'm going into medicine.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that didn't last very long.
Okay.
I just wanted to see what people would say.
Okay. What did your parents say?
I mean, they were supportive.
Okay.
I think that they realized that I wasn't going to actually do that,
okay.
that I wouldn't really leave music. My dad would have loved for me to be a jazz entertainer instead of classical, because he saw that there was a lot of pressure in the performances and competitions, and he just really didn't want to see me not have a good time with my music. And so he tried. He took me to Las Vegas. He took me to some shows in Miami. This is what it's like. This is what you could do someday. And I was like, no, Dad, I think I'm going to go to music school and become a classical pianist. So
we'll continue to take us on the journey. So what happens next? Where do you end up? What continues the music career for you?
Yeah. So I actually started my freshman year at Indiana University.
Okay.
With Georgi Shabak. And after growing up in a small town with a teacher who just was there for every detail, going to a large school like Indiana University was a little shocking to the system. It's like, wait,
right.
Nobody knows me or cares about me. That was just my perception from, what my experience had been. And then because my parents moved to California after I went off to school, I just got the bug. When I visited them in Southern California, I thought, this is paradise.
Oh, yes, it is.
And so I didn't go back to Bloomington, mostly because I didn't want to leave California. Yeah. So I ended up actually going to quite a few schools.
Okay, tell us.
I was at Cal State Fullerton. My first freshman year, my real freshman year, was my senior year of high school. So that was at SUNY Fredonia, then Cal State Fullerton, then Indiana University, then Cal State Fullerton. And then I went to Italy to study for a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's where you finished the undergrad degree, or what we would think of as undergrad degree?
I did finish the undergrad degree in California.
Oh, okay.
And then I got a certificate at the Accademia Chigiana in
yes,
Siena.
Much better Italian than me.
And stayed for a year to study with that professor, Guido Augusti. And then from there, instead of going to a master's degree, I delayed another year and went to the Curtis Institute at that time to do, a performer certificate.
That's fantastic. Okay, I want to talk about something, which is study abroad. So there might be a student listening and they're thinking, oh, should I go abroad? Like, how did you make the decision? Was it only because you're Italian and you wanted to go to Italy, or was there something else that made you want to study abroad?
That's a good question. I think I had heard at the time, Augusti was a very important teacher to study with in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it was a combination of, just having a sense of adventure, want to go out on my own. And I'd never been to Europe before. Mm-hmm. And of course, my heritage is Italian. But I just heard that he was a fantastic teacher. Mm-hmm. And at the time, the Accademia Chigiana, that summer program, there were quite a few Americans that would go there in the summertime, not only to study, but actually just to be auditors, because his master classes were just extraordinary. Mm-hmm. And so then it was supposed to be just a summer thing.
Oh, wow.
And I loved teaching with him so much. And he taught in Rome, lived in Rome during the years. So I just wrote home and said, sell my car, send me the money. I'm staying in Italy.
Oh, wow. You kept your parents on their toes, I can tell.
Yeah. So, I mean, they tried to convince me otherwise, but they conceded that, okay, you can do that. So I stayed for that school year.
Wow. And would you encourage that? Do you encourage your students or even others to have a broad experience? Do you think that was valuable even beyond the teacher? Like maybe you learned other things just living there, or the concerts you heard, or other people you interacted with?
I think if a student feels that there is a hurry to get through school, there's a problem. But if they love being in school and they don't want to take any gap years to do anything like a study abroad, so it depends on the person. For me, I needed this exploration. I wanted to be in a different culture. Mm-hmm. It was very challenging, I'd have to say. Mm-hmm. I didn't. This was in a time when there was no email, mind you, right? There is not even a bancomat. There's no machine to go get money, right?
Right.
I didn't have a credit card. Oh. I had no cell phone.
Yeah.
So there was a point in time where I ran out of money, and it took a long time to get that money wired over.
Wow.
And I was in Rome by myself with absolutely no money.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And for about a week, I was living on like a piece of bread a day. It was really bad.
Oh my gosh. These are the stories we're here for. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, it was more difficult to be a student abroad at that time than it is now.
Yeah, but discipline, you learn, and endurance and patience, I'm sure.
Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm. You learn resilience, you learn what you're capable of. And I've never been a very forward or extroverted person. I've always been a bit shy, so that was really good for me because you have to step up and speak up for yourself in a language that you don't really speak.
Wow. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, so you always knew you wanted to be a university professor. So then take us on this journey. So you've gone to so many schools and graduated, and now how do you land your job?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So the way that I landed my job at SMU, and I've been there now 29 years, was really not through sending out resumes. Oh, I have my DMA. Now I will just apply for all the jobs. I never, ever did that. What I did was tried to be excellent as an independent teacher, as a pre-college teacher. Mm-hmm. And just be the best teacher that I could be and stay in my area of Dallas where we were living. And so I was invited to apply for the job. Mm-hmm. And so I think that is a viable road for students who are fresh out of a DMA program. They don't necessarily need to think that, it's all about just sending out this resume. No, it's really about establishing excellence so that you do attract attention for what your work is. Mm-hmm. So that that's actually how it worked for me.
Awesome. Okay, let's talk to the independent teacher then. How long were you an independent teacher, and maybe how did you build that network that people would even know to ask you, or even knew that you would be qualified versus,
Right.
all the ones in Dallas that there are?
Yeah. Well, so my husband and I, we got married and moved to Texas because he got a job
Okay.
in Dallas.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so he got a job as a programmer
Mhm.
in Dallas. So it's like, oh my gosh, I've never been to Texas before.
Oh.
I don't know anything about Texas. I was all set actually to go to Yale for graduate school.
Oh, wow. That's a big
But
change.
instead, we're in Dallas.
Yeah, howdy.
And-
my hometown.
And I didn't know anything about it. I didn't
Mm.
know that there was this incredible school, UNT, was 15 minutes up the freeway from where we had landed, where we were living. And when we first moved there, somebody said to me, there's this great music school up the road a piece. And I said, no, honey, I think you don't understand. I just came from the Curtis Institute.
I love it. This is
And
why
then
love
when
her.
when I found out that there was actually this extraordinary graduate school that was literally 15-minute drive
Mhm.
away, I just thought, well, this is fate.
Right.
And
It's
it
all
turned
gone
out to be
as the Texans say.
Turned out to be the perfect place
Oh,
for
wow.
me to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the challenges for me at that point, Artina, was that I was 23 when we moved there and when we got married. And in that year also, I had a child.
Mm.
And so all during my grad school, I was raising 2 children at the same time.
Wow.
So in my 20s, I was raising children, entering competitions,
Mhm.
playing recitals, going to grad school, and teaching a full load of pre-college students.
Whoa.
So it was juggling a lot.
Yeah. Talk to the young mom out there who has a new baby. Like, how did you do that? And you were in school too. So it's not even like you finished and then you went on. Like you were
Yeah.
in school and trying to manage.
Yes.
Yeah. And newly married.
Yes.
Yeah. And moved to a new state.
I actually don't know how it was possible, but I had a wonderful marriage with a husband that understood because he got his graduate degree from Yale in piano performance. So he absolutely understood all of the challenges that I was going through musically and academically. And so that helped a lot. And the other thing that I was able to do is I was able to do it more slowly. So, of course, there are so many international students now who have to continue in full-time graduate school. And so they go more quickly through a program. But for me, I was able to take that DMA and stretch it out over 6 or 7 years. And so that was one of the ways that I was able to be in grad school.
Yeah.
And still raise a family. And so I would it was a matter of a lot of juggling and being very, very organized and, being able to move from one activity to the other and be focused. Now I'm going to practice. Now I'm going to be mom. Now I'm going to be, teacher and this was great training for an academic career,
that was what I was about to
right?
say. Actually, this is the best academic training. Is learning how to juggle in your personal life.
And
Yeah.
also I've been chair of the piano studies at SMU
Yes.
for 23 years now.
Oh
So
my
it's
gosh.
also good training for that because you have to stay organized, right?
Yes, indeed. Wow. Wow. Well, I
Yeah.
hope someone gets some inspiration off of, you don't have to go through school fast. You can spread it out and get everything done
Yes,
and not
absolutely.
be insane.
And yes, and also you don't have to have all of your ducks in a row to be a young married person either.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so it's not like you have to take these things one at a time. I can't do this until I do this, and then I can't do this until I do this. It's possible to just say, if you put enough passion and love into your life, you can figure out a way.
Yeah.
If you're resilient and creative, and you have especially if you have a loving partner,
Mm-hmm.
it's very helpful.
Oh, I love that. Resilient and creative. Yes, that's good. That's good advice because I think some people do think it's one at a time. So, well, let's talk about your work as a global advocate of narrower keys. Many people know you to do this work. I want to know what inspired you to even go in this direction because,
Yeah.
I mean, you're kind of one of the first.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, it was the year 2000, and I had heard that there were these pianos out there that had narrower keys. And I not only was dealing with my own struggles trying to play certain repertoire that was very frustrating, was difficult for me to play, stretchy repertoire, but I had students that had the same problems. And, of course, I know all the workarounds, right? But I was tired of the workarounds. And I thought, wouldn't this be incredible to experience what it would be like to actually have wired hands?
Mm-hmm.
So I heard that these pianos were being made in Titusville, Pennsylvania. And I contacted Mr. Steinbuehler there.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I'm really curious about this. I want this for my university. And it was exactly 25 years ago this summer.
Oh, wow.
When I went to visit him. And when I sat down at that Steinway B that he had with these narrower keys, I remember just sitting there thinking, etch this moment in your memory.
Mm-hmm.
I just closed my eyes and just etched it in my memory. I wanted to remember exactly how I felt because I knew it was going to change my life before I even touched the keys. And in fact, David Steinbuehler, he really didn't have an advocate at the time, and there were no other universities with this piano.
Mm-hmm.
But he was on a mission, and he still is.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember he looked at me and he said, "Are you the one?"
Oh my gosh. He's been sitting there praying that someone would come and then you appear. Wow.
And, so it was, we were a perfect team. And so I did get a grant from SMU to get that first keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
And and so you were there.
I
You were
was
in my studio
when we baby Artina.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we had fun with it. It came, and everyone in the studio said yes. So I'll participate in this. And you spent some time on it and would journal, your experiences, right? And it wasn't just for obviously you weren't a small-handed pianist. You have a nice medium-sized hand. It was for everybody, just experience it, right? But for me, it was life-changing because I realized, it's not me. It is the size of the piano, There are pieces that I can play now, and it's not a problem, and it's not going to hurt, and I don't have to come up with all sorts of workarounds or leave out notes or redistribute or roll chords or use contrived pedalings. But not only that, I felt that I was playing better. I felt, I have more facility. I have more speed. I have more power. I can play more legato. I can voice things. So the artistry that I had in my ear and in my head that I was only able to extend to this repertoire, I was able to expand to other repertoire and share that with students who really, really needed it. And so I've been on that road now since 2000 and immediely felt like, okay, I need to be, the prophet for Mr. Steinbuehler. So
you're a good prophet for him.
So I just started, talking it up at other universities and NCKP has always been really good to me. They invited me, it must have been at least almost 20 years that I was able for the first time to to perform on it here at the conference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and have given numerous presentations, and now we are seeing an incredible proliferation now.
Yeah, tell us, where is it, or how many universities?
Well, I mean, it does seem like over 25 years that it should be just global, right? But this took a long time to get off the ground. So now we're at around 30 universities internationally.
That's good, though.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you kind of tell us what countries they are or what continents they're on?
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's mostly in the United States and Germany.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also there's some in Australia, New Zealand, and some in Asia. The High-Loon Pianos has started to produce pianos with narrower keys. In Germany now, the Steingraber and Forster companies have started building them.
Oh, that's awesome.
And now Steinbühler's company has become a foundation.
Oh.
So for the past few years, I've been on the foundation. So it's a nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we do, our most important work, I think, is that we provide these actions. They are entire actions that go in grand pianos to other universities.
Mm-hmm. Like University of Memphis.
University of Memphis.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, the model is, basically we lend that to the university, and if they are able to incorporate that into their programs, then they may be able to purchase them. And so we've had several universities that have done that. And if they're not able to, doesn't work out for them, then that action moves on to another university.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's been really gratifying to see it grow within the United States through that program.
I think that's huge. That's like one a year. So that's huge. If it's in 30 institutions, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And like, what kind of feedback have you gotten, or what have you seen over the 25 years as far as testimonials or other people who you've changed lives, who you never even taught, that got to experience the keyboard because of you?
I mean, it's even today I went to 2 presentations.
Oh, yeah.
And on the keyboards, and it was great. One was a doctoral a dissertation topic.
Oh.
And another was I think a master's project. And both of these young people gave great presentations, and to sit there and watch them advocate for this, and just sit back and watch it happen. It was so satisfying.
Yeah.
It just makes me feel like, now if I were to stop talking about these keyboards, I could do it. Not that I want to, but I mean, I see that now it has a life of its own.
Yeah. You've passed the torch to many. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it has changed many, many pianists' lives. But we're just at the tip of the iceberg. Really what we need is just major manufacturers to now just accept the fact this is something that people want. And then from there, I think we need to move to being able to have it be on all the major stages and in major competitions.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, that even warms my heart. I was sharing earlier, I just ran into somebody today who was like, oh, I want a keyboard, a smaller keyboard just so my students can play, or, so it's amazing that I was there at the beginning and now, you just walk in the halls of NCKP and hear people talking about it. So it's just a testament to your impact. So awesome. Yeah.
I remember when we first started talking about it at conferences, people were like, what? There was just a whole paradigm shift had to happen because they just didn't even understand the concept. Because I think there was this idea that maybe God had created that size, and so we don't change that.
And they're not even all the same, though. Not even all pianos are the same when you sit down. So why not be narrower? Yeah. Well, are there any other projects or things you have coming up that you want to share with the audience that we should know about?
I would have to say that I am particularly interested in helping people with practice strategies. So one of the things that I did this year is I developed a course for the students at SMU, and I had such great fun with it. And we met once a week. It was advanced practice strategies. And so I'm kind of interested in going somewhere else with this now rather than just teach it as a course. I'm thinking about ways in which I could broaden the influence of what I came up with for this course.
Are you going to write a book?
I don't know. Books might be a little passé. Maybe
Oh.
it needs to be.
No, we like books.
Okay.
We do. Or a little
All right,
guide or something.
So that's what I need to do. I need
Yeah.
to talk to you and others and say, what should I do? Should it be video? Should it be books?
Both. Yeah. A video demonstration with the book that we can buy.
Okay.
Yes. Create it right here, you all. Well, our final question is always, how does piano inspire you?
The piano, to me, it was the heart of my home. It was my father's instrument. It is a sound that I've had in my ears since, probably I was in the womb. It's everything. It's home. The piano is home. It's the whole journey. Of course, I love the piano, but the repertoire, of course. And the journey of discovering how to make a piece come to life, how to interpret a piece, and, spend weeks and months with a piece of music that you love and take it through all its stages. There's nothing more fascinating than that. And so it's a combination of just the instrument being my home, and the music itself being the inspiration. And then to carry that through to being able to go on that journey with my students, that even gives it much more meaning for me, right? Because you can have your little revelations in your own practice, like, oh, that's great, but then when you actually, how that is when you're with your students and you see their faces light up, you get the vicarious joy of experiencing things for the first time, right? I see the meaning that this has for the students. I see that their lives have meaning, and
That's great. And I will just say, as a former student, I feel that. And as it's interesting how you perceive things as an 18-year-old versus a real adult when you get older. And that joy, I can see that it's sincere, and not everybody has that. So I think you embedded that into us, and now we give it out to others. And honestly, you were the first one. It's such an important and an impressionable age at 18. And to have somebody like you who actually cares and who's very persistent in making sure that you do the things you're supposed to do. It's important, that discipline. And I've carried it with me all these years. So thank you to the Dr. Carol Leone for being with us today.
Thank you, Artina.
Yeah.
The Francis Clark Center is a not-for-profit educational organization that serves the advancement of piano teaching, learning, and performing. Divisions include Piano Magazine, Piano Inspires Kids, Journal for Piano Research, National Conference on Keyboard Pedagogy, the New School for Music Study, Piano Education Press, International Online Teacher Education, and Piano Inspires Online Community Hub. Please visit us at pianoinspires.com to learn more about our impactful work and inspiring community.